Welcome to Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast featuring WVU football players and coaches during Spring Practice 2022. Presented by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. Here are your hosts, Amanda Mazey and Dale Wolfley.
Welcome, everybody, to Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast brought to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. We're talking all things WVU Spring Football Practice. Wolf, can you believe it's here already?
I'll tell you, the winter went by fast, but it was a productive winter from all accounts, and so that's exciting. And we're just really fired up to see what this team can do. A lot of parts unknown, some parts very well known, such as offensive line. Looking forward to that quarterback battle, who's going to come out on top. And, of course, getting into this whole name, image, and likeness.
Right, exactly. That's where we come in, right? Country Roads Trust. We are West Virginia's name, image, and likeness team. Just trying to make sure that West Virginia athletes are in this whole crazy world of NIL and that they are staying in the forefront of all of this. If you would like more information on all of the athletes and you get to learn a lot of cool things about them, you can go visit our website at countryroadstrust.com. So a lot of exciting information there. And, of course, we have a lot more in this podcast. And up next, who we're going to have? The head coach.
Neil Brown,
That's
NB
right.
himself.
That's right. All right, so we're going to get this started with the head guy, and that is coming up next. You are watching Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast brought to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. This Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. All right, welcome back to Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast all about WVU Spring Practice, brought to you by Encova Insurance. And, of course, we have to start the brand new episode with the head guy, head coach Neil Brown. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, just how excited are you to get out there on the field?
Not as excited than I am about this podcast.
We
right?
appreciate that.
Yeah, more excited about them now. Now I'm excited. I've said this multiple times. Spring practice is the most fun for me as a coach because you don't have a game to prepare for. It's really about just getting better fundamentally, teaching guys, and really and getting out with low amount of pressure. And so we got some sunshine this week, and so it's going to be a good first week.
Yeah, Coach, I know you're fired up about it, but I want to first get to this because this is the Country Roads Trust and name, image, likeness. Where is it at right now in college football in the landscape, and how is it affecting the game?
What's affecting is probably as much as anything right now is name, image, likeness vital. It's vital in two areas. Number one, retention, and number two, in recruiting. And not necessarily in that order, but I mean, in order to retain your players, they're gonna have to have some name, image, likeness opportunities. And in order to go recruit the top athletes, they're gonna have to have some name, image, likeness. That's the world we live in.
Yeah, I talked to you many times about how the 4-year rule and the redshirting to 4 games was really changing the game and the chess pieces. But now you have this transfer portal. What you said in your spring media conference was that it's a free agency. But what I really liked what you said was about the windows. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so we are. If with the name, image, likeness, transfer portal, like there's more things going on in the game of college football now than there's probably ever has been. But we have full-fledged free agency, meaning the transfer portal is open for business 24/7, 365 days. You can go in or people can come out. And so in free agency and every other sport, right now NFL free agency's kicked in, right? So you click on your app or you're watching SportsCenter or whatever you're doing, man, you're seeing all these players switching teams. Well, they have a distinct window, and in the NFL, there's one window. Major League Baseball, they're going through it right now too, just because they opened back up for business. The lockout's over, and there's guys trading teams, but they have a window as well. Where in college football, all right, or college athletics in general, it's open all the time, and it makes it almost impossible to manage your roster. And so what we need to look at, and I think this is where it'll eventually go for football in our sport, is looking at 2 different windows. Having a window in that December, January area where guys can enter, and then they can take visits and exit the portal. And then from middle April into May, again, where they can enter the portal or they can exit the portal, but we don't have all this craziness right in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it is craziness, isn't it? My goodness. So this spring ball, obviously all eyes on the quarterback position.
Y'all want to talk about the quarterbacks?
I know, right?
Yeah, you want to talk about
nerve-wracking or kind of exciting that you're going to have an all-out competition?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I think it's, we've talked about this in the past, is we really, at Christmas time or right after the bowl game, we really had a decision to make is like, all right, portal or play the guys. And the decision for me as the head coach is like, we've got to figure out what we have here. If like, I don't think going out and getting somebody at that time really gave us a fair or was really fair to our program, the future of our program, or to the three guys we have here on scholarship. And so I think it's imperative that they had the winner and going into spring ball. And I really believe with all my heart is we have the future of our football team and our football program here on campus right now playing the quarterback position. I'm just not sure which one it is, and maybe it's multiple ones. Okay, but Garrett Green, Nico Marchio, Will Crowder, Goose, is those guys, like I really believe in them. I believe in their ability. We all recruited those guys. They've shown signs. And I'm really proud of their growth through this winter 8 weeks. And now I'm looking forward to how they control all the spring stuff. And we're going to go into it. We're going to have even amount of reps. They'll kind of rotate days of who's going to be taking the 1 reps. And then by the end of the spring, we'll have a good evaluation. And what I assume will happen is one of those guys is going to put themselves in the position to be the starting quarterback. But if we don't think they're ready, and maybe they're just not ready yet. Well, then we can explore some options. But I don't think that was fair to do at mid-year. Okay, I think it's better to give these guys a run. If you look at Garrett Green, really proud of his growth. Had a really good winter. Was up and down during the season. And a guy that was a redshirt freshman. Really had a COVID year was his true freshman year, so that wasn't a really good aspect. He played well at times last year in games, and then some games he got a little rattled, right? Well, now he's got an opportunity to get more reps, and I don't think he's proven. He's got his weight up to over 200 pounds now, so he's able to withstand some of the beatings. Will Crowder's a kid that's been here for a year, probably as good at leadership skills as we have in our program. He's a quality runner as well. He's ready. Like he did really well in our bowl prep. I thought he really showed out there. And then Nico comes in, a guy that we've seen live. We recruited for a long time. He's incredible leadership skills. He's a guy that's got some of the it factor. So I think all three of those guys are ready to show their teammates what they can do and show their abilities to their staff and looking forward to getting them in front of our fans toward the end of the spring.
Yeah, and then the chess strategy is if they're not ready, then
yeah, well, if they're not ready, then here's the thing. The worst thing you can do with a young quarterback is play them before they're ready. It really is, because what happens is if they get out into – and we open up. Let's not say – we're not easing into our schedule, right? We've got our biggest rival week 1. I think it's like 164 days from right now when we're recording this podcast is we play Pitt. And it's going to be a sold-out right in Heinz Stadium. And so it's not going to be a deal where they're easing into it. And so I think the worst thing we can do is throw a guy out there that's not ready. Now, we're going to give them every opportunity to get ready through spring ball and summer and all that kind of stuff. But if we feel like we need to get a veteran, then that's what we'll do. But that's not in our train of thought right now.
What other positions are you really keying in on this spring?
Well, I think the offensive lines had I think they played well at times last year. What we have to do up front is really raise our level of play against really good people. Like the Minnesota game's a really good example. Like they've got a first-round draft pick playing one end, another kid that'll be in the top 3, and really good front. And we just played, okay. If you go back and against Kansas, we were dominant at times. We played really well. You look at Texas, we played really well. We were a little uneven, and then we didn't raise our level of play against the best fronts that we played on our schedule. So those guys got to take the next step. We're really focused on getting them stronger. They've had probably as good an offseason as anybody on our program. And so I'm looking at that group. We want to get 6 to 8 guys that are ready to play. And that group coming back, every one of them that played is coming back. So I like that. We got a lot of talent in the running back room. So how are we going to use that talent? I think that we've got a couple of receivers that are ready to take the next step and be maybe all league type players. If you look on defense, we've got a really good run at defensive linemen. Some guys I think that are ready are Jordan Jefferson. I think he's ready to take the next step and have a bigger role. I think if you look at a Torres Simmons, he's been a great special teams player. I think he's probably ready to be a factor on defense. And I think Jared Bartlett and Linnell Carr, those guys at that bandit position, we're going to see them. Lance Dixon, I think he's got a chance to probably be the most improved player as we enter the fall. He's extremely talented, maybe as talented as anybody we have in our program. And then we got a bunch of young guys in the secondary. The good thing is they can run, and we needed to increase our team speed in the back end on defense. We feel like we've done that. We're going to continue to add pieces to that as we get into May and into the summer. But it's going to be interesting how we feel about those guys leaving spring rather than entering.
Yeah, Coach, I'm going to be able to watch you in person. This is spring ball at every practice as you give up this offense and then focus yourself to the rest of the team. And what is your thought process going into managing this? I mean, this is kind of new to you, so I'm very interested.
Yeah, it's going to be new. It's going to be different. There's going to be a learning curve for me, for sure. But it's something that it's a challenge I'm looking forward to, right? And what it's been able to do through the winter and really in prep for spring practice is I've been able to spend just a lot more time with the players, and also really spending times in meetings and different meetings and giving our coaches some pointers and, hey, how can we be better teachers? Like, have we thought about this? And I think we've done a better job planning and preparing our guys for spring ball than we've done in the past. Once we get in there and, like, I have a better understanding of all facets of what we're doing defensively and special teams. I'm going to be more involved in special teams than I probably have in the past. And so I'm looking forward to that too. I think anytime you do something different, it gives you a little renewed energy. And so, are there some aspects I'm going to miss? Absolutely. But I feel like we're in really good hands there on offense. And now Graham's coming in, and he's been able to focus. That's his job, right? I've been splitting roles, and he's going to do a better job than I did.
All right, we have head coach Neil Brown joining us on this Climbing the Mountain video podcast, which is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. So, Neil, this is your 4th year here. First year, you had a real spring practice. The past 2, you really haven't. So how important is it and just nice is it to have a full spring going into the fall? Do you feel like it's just going to work so much better in the fall because you will have had a full spring, whereas the last 2 years you really haven't? Yeah,
so I think the thing that is important for us and it's imperative for our fans to understand is we haven't had a normal offseason since 2019. And so the way we're breaking down is we kind of go 8 weeks in our winter, and then we have 5 weeks of spring football. They get some time off in May, 8 weeks in the summer. Well, we haven't had that. Our winter got interrupted last year. Our spring practice was a little hit and miss at the very start. And so now we've had a full 8 weeks. We anticipate, unless something crazy happens, which, hey, it could, right?
Right.
It could. It's capable. But we anticipate having a full spring practice. So I think, and then having a full summer. And so that's going to be our first really lead into the season that we've had since 2019. And so that's going to be the important part, not just spring, but the fact that we get it all in the correct order as you lead into fall camp. I think you're going to see a team that's better prepared physically and mentally going into our season opener.
Coach, you talked earlier about, you're going to be more involved with special teams and doing different things with your focus on the team. But what I've really noticed a lot coming from you this spring is roster management. Could you hit on that a bit? Because I think it's very interesting.
Roster management, that's probably as important role as the head coach has right now. And, it's with the transfer portal, okay, and in kind of being limited on numbers, what you can bring in. And so we're at 32. That's a rise from 25 as far as initial scholarships. And so we had to do some thinning out with our roster to get where we could have 85. And people forget we've got this added year of eligibility with COVID. And so, you're kind of want to get ahead, but you're not trying to push people out necessarily, but you want to get where they're feeling and so you can manage those numbers. But yeah, it's a day-to-day deal. And I've told people this, like, I know our fan base gets frustrated maybe because we've had some players leave or whatever, but I say this, and this is not a negative to anybody that's like, all attrition is not bad attrition, and like people leave for a reason, like I feel really confident in like how our players are being treated here, like all the resources they have. And honestly, if you look at it, like we've probably benefited more than we've lost, and that's not a knock on anybody that's left. That's just, hey, and that's how we're going to continue to roll with it too. And like we're going to have our focus in the portal is really, we want to find the best players that are fits, and we want guys on upward trajectories. That's what we're looking for. And like, Charles Woods is a great example of somebody that we were able to sign in the portal last year. He didn't get here till May. Went through the summer, played, and he's the highest returning cover corner according to PFF in the Big 12. But he came from Illinois State. He was an FCS player, an all-league FCS player. But we really watched his film. We did some data analysis on it. He was on an upward trajectory, and that's what we're going to find. I think Marcus Floyd this spring is a guy that we're going to leave spring going, man, he's going to be a good player. And the way we're going to use our next 6 scholarships is in the same fashion is we want to find guys on upward trajectory regardless of what level they play.
What do you hope the identity of this team is come fall?
Yeah, I think it's too early, Amanda. I do. I think you start your team coming out of the winter. You have a little bit of coming out of spring, okay, but you go get yourself the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. Then they go through summer, and that's when you kind of really develop your leadership is in the summer, and then you get into fall camp. So I don't know if you know your identity of your football team till you're about 2 weeks into the summer, and then you're like, 2 weeks into fall camp, and you're like, okay, I got a better understanding. This is who we are. You have your whole team here because you got to remember we're going to add 18 or 19 guys to the mix on scholarship between now and when we kick off fall camp.
Let me ask you this one last thing for me for the defense. Jumping into the defense and talking about, there are some games, you could have won some games if you would have been able to stop the offense. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. How are you going to try to go and fix that this year? And I know you got a lot more speed that you're happy about, but what's that mentality?
Well, I think it's two ways we've got to do that. We've got to be able to play more man coverage than we have in the past, and we were really limited in that last year. We couldn't be able to do it much, and so we got to do that, and then we got to be able to stop the run against people that are really good at running the football. If you look at the top tier teams in our league, they ran the football on us well, and that was a discerning factor for us. Okay, and so the next thing after that is we got to do better in situations. 4-minute, 2-minute at the end of games, because I think defensively, 2 out of our first 4 games we had an opportunity to get off the field and we didn't. And it cost us really 3 out of the 4 opening losses and going into the bye week, as we had opportunity to get off the field there versus Maryland, getting the ball back, Texas Tech stop, Oklahoma stop, and we just didn't do it. Now, we played pretty good defense, not great, but we played good defense. And so we got to be able to stop the run better against really good run teams. We got to be able to play more man coverage, and we got to be improved on situational football.
All right, sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. All right. Head coach Neil Brown, thank you so much for joining us on Climbing the Mountain. We wish you good luck this spring, and we're excited to have this podcast to follow along and talk to your players.
Well, I'll tell you what, what else? I mean, he is responsible for allowing this to happen here.
Yes.
This is at the stadium in this brand new recording. Is it a recording studio?
It is.
This is the first thing that we've done in the recording studio.
Yay.
Country Roads.
All right.
Country Roads.
There you go.
You can't end it better than that.
All right, we want to thank head coach Neil Brown for joining us here on Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast all about spring football practice. Coming up next, you are going to go in the film room with new offensive coordinator Graham Harrell.
That's right. He's going to break it down, the film, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And, hey, there's a lot of good informational stuff going on.
That's your wheelhouse there, Wolf.
I like it.
All right, we'll be right back on Climbing the Mountain, a podcast brought to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind.
Welcome back to Climbing the Mountain video podcast, brought to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage. Hey, here I am. I have the great honor of having offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Graham Harrell. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you on this first podcast, video podcast, let me say, of the Country Roads Trust. And I want to really get to the film and show Mountaineer Nation what you have going on. Is that good?
Excited to do it.
Let's go. Roll it. Okay, Coach. So let's get to this and, just treat me with a huge imagination like I was a quarterback recruit. And you want to teach me some basic routines, some philosophy at quarterback, and some drills. Go ahead, take over.
So this is kind of my thoughts on quarterback and what we'll teach them. We'll work on this a ton this spring, or this is kind of some philosophy stuff, but also things, like I said, that we'll work on with the quarterbacks. The first thing, and we really emphasize this, is that I think throwing starts with your feet. So every single snap, the quarterbacks will have a plan with their feet. We'll drill the heck out of it. There's going to be a ton of work put in to doing everything right with your feet. And one thing that I really emphasize with these quarterbacks is if everything goes right, we get the guy open, the play works just the way we drew it up, we protected it well, the receiver runs the right route, he gets open, it can't go bad because the quarterback didn't do his job. Right. And so I think a lot of that has to do with being great with your feet. And so that's why that's so important to us. And I think that also by the time they get to you at this level, the change their mechanics or the fundamentals of throwing the football can have just as many adverse effects as it can help them at times, and we want to make them the most efficient version of themselves. But the place that I think you can do that the most is with the lower body more than the upper body throwing motion. And so it's something we work on a lot, something I believe in, and we'll get to kind of show you some examples of that here in a minute.
All right.
Next is I'm not trying to create a robot, and that kind of gets into what I was just talking about. Like, people are going to look different when they throw the football, and I think that's okay as long as they're not doing it something that's going to create a huge flaw in the throwing motion. I think that quarterbacks are probably the most overcoached position in all the sports. There's so many people out there that train them, that do crazy stuff with them. I think they can really be overcoached. And so my deal is, like, I'm not trying to create a robot. I'm just trying to make each guy the most efficient version of themselves and let them go be successful. And I think that gives them the best chance. And I think the quarterback's main job is to make the guys around them better. There's going to be somebody when they take the field, everyone else's level of play rises because that guy's on the football field. And that's the quarterback. And that's what I tell my guys. They understand that. It's who, when he steps foot in that huddle, everyone else believes a little bit more because they're in there. That guy's your quarterback. Whether he's the most talented guy or not, that's who your quarterback is. And ultimately, quarterbacks are judged on winning football games. And so, making the guys around you better make you win a lot more games. And so those two things are really important, things that we know about, things we'll discuss, and that will be important for us moving forward here at West Virginia.
And in West Virginia right now, you have at least 3 young quarterbacks where maybe they haven't developed bad habits yet or habits you don't like. But by the way, they're always different anyways, too.
No question.
So, again, you got your work cut out for you.
It'll be a fun spring, and that's the thing I'm excited about, is finally getting going with these guys. And like you said, 1, seeing what we have, and 2, kind of molding them into see if we can't make them better versions of themselves. And that's the whole goal of what we do. And we'll get into and a little tape here to show you a little bit more what we're talking about or how we're going to train their feet the best we possibly can. So the first thing that we'll always, we do ladders every day because I think that throwing the football or taking a drop is kind of like dancing is what I tell them. You got to have rhythm in your feet. So we'll do a million different foot patterns and drills. But every single day for, 3 to 5 minutes, we'll do some sort of ladder drills. These are just a couple examples. One, it gets them warmed up. I don't know if you've been to practice lately, but a lot of times quarterbacks don't get they don't run quite as much as everybody else. So this gets them gassed a little bit. That's about the extent of their cardio right here sometimes. But we'll always do that. That's something I believe in. Like I said, I think you got to create rhythm in people's feet, like dancing. Next thing we'll do is get to drops. And every single day we're going to work on drops because, like I talked about earlier, if things go well, the play can't go bad because the quarterback messed up. And so they're always going to have a plan with their feet. This is what we call quick game footwork. This is a good example by Keaton right here. This is Keaton. He's going, and we teach him left, right, left, right ball, left, right ball, left, right ball. That's the rhythm that I want them to have. That's what they know. That's what they'll be taught. And in quick game, when things go well, I did it as a player. This was at Texas Tech. I wasn't really taught much drops. It was just, hey, throw it to the guy when he's open. And now looking back at it, a lot of times I did this naturally. And then when I got to Green Bay, this is what they taught, was the left, right. If you watch Aaron on quick game stuff, he does a lot of this. But I think it really puts you in rhythm and usually times up well. This is JT here, left, right, ball. Keaton, left, right, ball. Guys that do it at a high level. But we're just trying to create habits with their feet to get them ready to go and warm their arms up still.
Absolutely.
We can bump them to the side to work on similar throws just at a different angle because rarely in football are you throwing it straight ahead of you. You know what I mean? So we'll bump them to the side. The other thing that I learned at Green Bay, and that I think Aaron does better than anyone else, was he could change the rhythm. So I think there's, we're working on a 3-step drop, but we have different rhythms of a 3-step drop. I think there's like a quick 3, and then there's a big 3. It's how we kind of distinguish it. So if we're trying to throw the ball in rhythm on time with a 3-step drop, we call it a quick 3. So now we're not near as worried about how much depth we're getting from the other line. We're worried about getting our feet up and down quickly to time up with the route we're trying to throw. So that's kind of what we're working on here, throwing an out route on time over to our left here. Here's again JT right here taking a quick 3. So he'll always start with that left, and then it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the rhythm I want him to feel. Left, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can see here, this is Fink, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah. Now, are they better dancers at the end of your teaching sessions?
So this is Slovis here, and one, this is a really good feat. One, he does the job so well, that's why he's successful, but he was he graduated early. Well, first I'll show you his feet. Left, 1, 2, 3, ball. That's really good, but he graduated early, so he was actually a senior in high school, came at semester, so this would be like the second semester of his senior year, and after doing the ladders and some of these drops, he went back for prom, and he was like, Coach, they got a new dance named the Slovis. It was one of my footwork drills, one of my ladder drills. He said he did it on the dance floor at prom, and now they have it the Slovis at whatever high school in Arizona he went to.
Love it.
I guess I made him a little bit better dancer. But that's really good rhythm in his feet there. And then we'll get to some game clips of them doing this, examples, and I love this one. So this is the quick game footwork we talked about. He's going left, right, ball, left, right, ball, left, right, ball. So here he is. We drilled it over and over. Here it shows him the game. Left, right, ball. Keeps it outside, really good throw. And what I love about this clip is this running back right here should really block this blitzer. He misses the blitz. And this is one way I talk about to the quarterbacks that you can make the guys around you better is, if this quarterback doesn't do his job, if he doesn't go left, right, ball, he sees the blitzer, he gets undisciplined with his feet, takes a sack. For the next 2 drives, this running back's going to be thinking about, I gave up the sack. You know what I mean?
Right.
But by simply doing his job correctly, left, right, ball, the ball's out, we can beat this blitzer with the football. So now, instead of taking a sack, we get a, 12-yard gain. And now this running back, he's not going to think ever again about missing this blitz because it really didn't hurt us. You know what I mean? And that's a way like, hey, you made the guys around you better. That's one way, one great example of doing it. And it comes down to being great with your feet. And that's a really good clip of that. You can see that on the speed out there. Here we're running a stick route on the inside. And you can see his feet again. I like this one from the back angle.
So if you're grading tape on your quarterbacks in a game-like situation, and they went right, left first, you would put a negative there.
Oh, yeah. So that spring that we were just watching, that was slow again. His senior, he took the wrong footwork once and threw a completion. And I kind of got on him, and he's like, well, Coach, I completed it. And I said, yeah, but trust me, it's going to hurt you. And like 2 days later, he does the exact same, the wrong footwork again, tries to throw an out route, and he's late because he's bad with his feet, and he threw a pick. And so then I'm like, that's exactly why I told you the other day you were wrong, is for this reason. Because I think it's unfair if we're just looking at the results of the play. Well, he took bad footwork, but he threw a completion, and I say, good job. And then the next time I tell him he's late with the football, and he's like, well, 2 days ago you said good play. You know what I mean? I just think that's unfair. And so it's not always going to be perfect, and we'll kind of see some examples of that. But when it is clean, the quarterback has to be great with his feet. And, you see him throw a stick route. Here he is throwing, I think, a swing route off the same footwork, left, right, ball. So there's a lot of different plays. This is really a screen. We're just blocking for this guy trying to throw a swing to him. But it carries over the same footwork. And so that way, before the ball's ever snapped, he has a plan with his feet. Here is, this is another thing we work a lot. If the first read's not open, so he's going left, right, trying to left, right ball to this slant. And they do a good job of covering it with this guy right here, this safety driving it. And one thing we work on, which if I would have played those drops a little longer, is left, right, it's not there, reset backwards, because we haven't got away from the line at all, right? Because we've only gone left, right. Well, if the first throw is not there, that line's going to start falling into your lap. So we work on left, right, reset backwards a little bit, because that's not a natural movement as a quarterback, and then throw it. And so you'll see him here, left, right, that first read's not open, he resets back a little bit to get away from the O-line just a bit, so he has a little bit more room to throw the football, and then throws it to his second read. That's just the quarterback being really good with his feet and being disciplined.
On average, how many reads do you have per passing play before you go to an outlet?
Hopefully we got 5, because we got 5 eligible receivers.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah. There's times where, hopefully all 4 of these guys, this is a great example of this play, all 4 of these guys are in the read, and then if the back, he's checking protection and getting out, if he gets out and if he doesn't have to block, now he's in the read too, so all 5 of them are live,
Yeah, and Coach, speaking of the offensive line that the Mountaineers have, that they're a little more experienced and you have these quarterbacks, how much is that going to help them?
That helps a ton. I think if you could if you look at teams that are really successful at any level, They usually have a good quarterback playing at a high level, and they have a really good offensive line. And I think that, or D-line. I think they're good on both, on both fronts. And then I think that you can look at, the last 2 Super Bowl champions, for instance, the Rams and the Buccaneers controlled the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball and on the defense side of the ball. And I think that, 2 years ago, the Buccaneers, they held Pat and the Chiefs probably I think it's the only time they haven't scored a touchdown or something like that, because they controlled the football game with that D-line. The same thing can be done on the offense side of the ball with that offensive line. And having time and being able to run the football because of experience and these guys playing at a high level makes everyone else better. And so having that, it will be a huge advantage for us, having as much experience as we have there. And I still think we can make strides and be better, but having the experience definitely helps. And this is just an example of him taking that quick 3 that we're working on. You saw, and throwing that out route, left, 1, 2, 3 ball. And you can see he's not losing a lot of ground. He's not getting a lot of depth in his drop. Boom. He's just worried about getting the ball out on time, being quick with his feet, and making the throw. And so that's examples of things going well, and the quarterback being good with his feet, and why it's so important. Now, the thing that we also understand is things don't always go well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always perfect. And so we'll do a ton of drills that work on, hey, when things don't go right, now we got to be able to move and make things happen. But again, it all gets back to our feet. And this is a drill that we do called near far. This is old school tape here. We got some North Texas tape. That's a young Graham there. But he takes, the quarterback will take a drop. Things break down in the pocket. And we work on shuffling in the pocket here. We'll shuffle. They can throw at any point as they're shuffling, or they have to escape the pocket. If they escape cleanly, they can set their feet and then throw the ball when they get outside the pocket. Here's an example of us doing it at SC again. So take the drop, set up. This is a good look at it. Okay, now the pocket breaks down. Now we have to move. We're shuffling. Things are going on, but we're still in the pocket, right? We're working on being able to move in the pocket, move with the base. Don't get your feet too close together, too far apart. Move in a position that you can throw the football. And then if the guys, I can give him, what's going on here is I'm giving him a ball call if I want him to throw it to this guy, or if he gets all the way through it, I can get him out to these near or far cones. So that's him, like he threw it in the pocket. Now,
but regardless, it all comes back to your philosophy about the feet.
No question. It all starts with your feet. So now, here where I said he's moving in the pocket, okay, well, it completely breaks down. I have to escape. You escape. You may have to throw on the run, which we have drills that we work on that. Or if you get out clean, you can reset your feet and throw the football. And we got examples of, our quarterbacks doing that in the game. Here's a good one. Boom. Take a drop. It doesn't go as planned, right? I had to move a little bit. Now escape. Get out. Okay, well, I got out clean. Now I have time to set my feet again, get back to that throwing position, and make a big-time throw for a big play for us there against UCLA. This is one of my favorite ones of all time because this is basically the drill, a great example of the drill. He takes a drop, and he feels this pressure immediately. So he kind of has to shuffle in the pocket here. Boom, he's shuffling in the pocket. He's shuffling in the pocket. Things aren't good. Now it's completely broken down. He has to escape. So he did a good job escaping. And right here, he realizes I'm out clean. So now I can reset my feet, just like he did on that cone,
right,
and try to find a receiver. And this is you can barely see it, but he kind of looks back to see how clean he got out, which was a good play by him. He buys just enough time. He's on that cone to hit us a big play. We've had a lot of big plays on very similar plays to that. But it's something you got to drill. And like I said, if you're great with your feet, I think you give yourself your best chance to be successful, and that's why we work it so much. And those are just a couple examples of that.
Yeah, last question then for you, coaches. What does it take for a quarterback to be the leader of the offense?
I think that's a lot of things. And kind of like I talked about, making the guys around you better. Well, how do you do that? Well, one, I think they got to see that you outwork everyone in there. You know what I mean? And so they really start to trust you, and you gain a ton of credibility. And that's by showing up and working every single day, and sacrificing whatever you have to sacrifice for the team. If it's time, if it's you got to take your guys out to eat, you got to be around them. They gotta trust you, and then it's performing on the field too. And I think that there's a fine a fine line of that, and just a lot of it's the intangibles that are hard to measure, and just the presence, the way you carry yourself, the way you work, the way you act everywhere, and that's what the other thing we talk about. Like, we want to be selfless, we want to be tough, we want to be disciplined, but that's just not like on a football field. That's in the classroom. That's outside of this building when you're hanging out with your friends. Like, you got to make decisions that are best for the team, even if you don't feel like it's what's best for you at the time. And I think that if the quarterback can do that consistently, the guys start to look at him in a different light. And I think that's really important. And then you got to show up on the field, and you got to perform and carry yourself the right way and have the right energy. And when you do that, I think that the more consistently you do that, and the more you start performing well on the practice field, and then it'll carry over to games, guys, just you naturally become that leader.
All right. Coach Graham Harrell, WVU offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, thank you so much.
Enjoyed it.
All right. Stay tuned. More to come.
Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. All right, welcome back to Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast presented to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. I'm here with Dale Wolfley. And next up, Wolf, we've got Nico Marchiala. We have Bryce Ford Wheaton. And what do you think? Like, these guys are excited to be here?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited. I mean, you got Markel, you got BFW, you get that Bryce Ford Wheaton. And I can call him that because I go back a long ways with his family and his inheritance. When you talk about Coach Garrett Ford, oh my goodness, senior and junior uncles and grandfather. And then, of course, you got his mother. It goes way back. Hey, I got stories for you, man, but we'll tell them after we get off the podcast, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, so Nico and Bryce, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Problem.
Here we are, spring ball. How excited are you guys to get out on the field and just see what this team's going to be like this year?
Oh man, this is the whole reason I came early and wanted to get started so soon, was just to be ready for spring ball and kind of build up that camaraderie with my teammates, with receivers like Bryce and Caden Prather and the offensive linemen, and just kind of start that trust up, and I'm so excited it's finally here.
Bryce, what about you? I mean, here we are, spring ball. The past couple of springs have been kind of crazy with COVID. So how does it feel to actually have like a full spring practice?
Really just feels like a weight taken off of our shoulders. This is going to be my fourth spring ball. So, I mean, it's my last one. Just really want to see the team come together, improve from last year, see where we're at. Excited.
Yeah, hey, Nick, all right. So now you're here in Morgantown, West Virginia, okay? You come from Arizona and Phoenix. What has been your response, and how has it been? Has it been good? What's good about WVU?
It's just there's so much to offer in Morgantown. I think it's really like a hidden gem up here, and obviously the fans, the support we receive as football players around the town. I think it's second to none, and it was a big change coming straight from high school, high school workouts, high school teammates, to being around guys like Bryce, like 4 or 5 year guys who've been in college football and been around the ringer a little bit. And I think that's what's really, really cool about this team, is it's a good combination of really young guys and really old guys. So I think we both have a lot to offer for each other, and just my experience in Morgantown has been amazing.
Let's take it to you now, BFW. What's your experience? You're in a different situation. You've seen this before, as I said, family. What are you thinking of Morgantown and how it's come from where you've seen it?
I mean, I love Morgantown. Ever since I was little, coming up here to visit my grandfather, my grandparents, coming to West Virginia games, I've loved it. I've loved the environment ever since. I knew that when West Virginia offered me when I was in high school that this was going to be the place I was going to end up coming, just because I was familiar with how to get around here. The fans, how they treat you here with respect, and the atmosphere is just great.
All right, so Bryce, you're a seasoned veteran. Nico, you're the new guy, and obviously you're at that position where there's going to be a fierce competition. what's your mindset going into the spring?
My mindset is just to be the best teammate possible, and to help in any area I can, and just always be a person that my teammates can talk to, and be a leader on and off the field. And I try to replicate that in everything I do. In our workouts we've been doing, and these winter workouts are a real deal. Everything you hear about college football and how hard it is, and how it's a grind. It's everything coming to life. And I mean, this has just been my dream since I was a kid to be a college football player. So I'm just taking everything in one day at a time, and just being around some great guys, some great older guys who kind of show me the ropes and have been a really great support system for me. So it's been a really easy transition for me, I'd say.
Bryce, how important is it? I'm sorry, Wolf. I'm sorry. Bryce, how important is it this time, this spring ball, to build on that chemistry with the new guys, the veterans pairing up with the new guys? It's
very important. And, this is your first time. We're really going to see, all the kids that came in early enrolled. And like Nico, he has a big role right now, and he's going to have to come in and, show us what he has. But I think he's prepared for it. We've, we throw a lot in the off season, in the winter, 3 times a week. Even on Saturdays, we get work in. And he's been there every single time. I mean, a lot of the young guys, I know they're ready to, show what they have. And as old guys, seasoned vets, we're ready to see what they have too.
Yeah. Okay. So Nico, you have Graham Harrell as a brand new coach here at WVU this semester, and you have Tony Washington, Bryce. And tell us about how they're working. I know you're just in meetings right now, but they're there for the workouts. How's it all working together? Both of them being new.
I think both coaches just have so much to offer, and especially specific to our positions. Graham Harrell being an air raid type of offense, and Coach Washington just being a very skilled wide receiver coach. I think we both can develop our skills even more and show our talents in the way that we want to. By throwing the ball and airing it out, and giving Bryce and these guys chances to go up and make plays, and that's always been my dream, is just be able to throw to some big time players and have them make me look good and them do all the work, and I just get the ball to them. So I think having Graham Harrell here and Coach Tony Washington has been like a blessing, a dream come true.
Nico, what do you think the biggest adjustment has been for you?
I'd say the total level of commitment from everybody on the team. I think in high school it's hard to have everyone on the team kind of bought in on the same goal, and even the coaches for the most part. I think high school, just it's different everywhere in the country. But I was fortunate enough to play at a 6A high school team in Arizona, and we did pretty well. But still, coming to a D1 football program, the difference is night and day. I think you come here and you have a team a team of it's 70, 80 guys who are totally bought in on one goal, and that's winning national championships and winning games, and being a proud member of Morgantown, of the Mountaineers. So just the whole level of commitment from the entire staff, from the entire team, has been such a I think a blessing, and I'm just so excited to finally be here.
All right. Bryce, let's talk about last year. And you had a very good season. The last 2 years, you have been progressing on a really good course. And you had the one game against Iowa State that was spectacular. You're making some acrobatic catches. What are you looking to really accomplish here in spring ball as far as your consistency with receiving? Again, you have new quarterbacks. You have, of course, new coaches. New languages. There's a lot going on. What do you want to accomplish in spring ball?
Really just want to, master the ins and outs of this new offense. You can't really do anything until you learn the whole offense completely, like in and out. And, I think I was pretty good with that last year and the years before. So, it's nothing that I can't handle. And I really just want to work on this year, just fine-tuning everything that I've came this far already. So it's my last year, my last spring ball. I want to fine-tune everything that I can, just be consistent as I can. Every game, like you said, the Iowa State game, I want every game to be like the Iowa State game. That should be the goal. So, you just got to work hard and just be consistent.
All right, just want to remind everybody that you are watching Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast presented by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion, like you, passionate,
right,
are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. All right, Bryce, you've been here through the COVID years. What did you take away from these past 2 years that were just absolutely kind of crazy?
The COVID stuff was really crazy. It's something crazy that I even was here to go through that. Like, it's something I can tell my kids about. Like, I lived through 2020. I was in college in 2020. Just the whole thing from when I remember 2 years ago, we were going through spring ball and everybody's excited. Our morale is high. We're just starting to get clicking. The whole offense, just starting to get clicking, the whole team. And then we go home and we get our notification on our phones that the NCAA tournament is canceled and things are getting canceled. And we're just like, what's going on? So we're asking, do we start practice? And then, we have a team meeting later that day. I think it was March 12th, actually. And then we just got sent home on a little 2-week, spring break. So we're excited. 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks turned into months, and it really took a toll too because the chemistry with the quarterbacks, we couldn't really get together when we wanted to. You had people getting quarantined in and out, so it was really hard to get everything going. But last year was a blessing. Like coming from 2020, last year was a blessing just to have the fans back in the stadium. And just having a whole offseason to go with our teammates, get the chemistry right.
Nico, you were the Gatorade Player of the Year in Arizona. Did you get any Gatorade? Honestly, I mean, I love Gatorade, man, and I want to know, did you get any, and do you have any extra?
Oh, if you got some Gatorade, I'll get you some Gatorade. We definitely got a good deal of Gatorade, and that was definitely a huge honor. And it was a really, really cool experience how all that went down. And to be named the State Player of the Year was such a blessing, and just a result of great teamwork and great teammates and coaches, and that was a really cool experience for me.
Yeah, I bet
You
it
might
was.
be sick of drinking it.
No, never.
No, never?
No, I could drink Gatorade all
my
the
gosh.
time. And I'll tell you this, now in all seriousness, because by all reports, everybody said you're a pretty mature young guy. Don't take that wrong because you're a young man. But what I'm trying to get at is, what are you looking for stepping out on that field this week, your first spring ball in college? For your age you're at, you should still be at the prom right now, okay? Getting ready to go dance. But now you're here. And what are you expecting of yourself?
I think my expectations are pretty high for myself. I think I should be able to get right into the flow of everything, and like I said earlier, having so many veterans around me, up front on the offensive line and out wide at the receiver spot, and even in the backfield with me, it's going to make my job a lot easier just having those kind of players around me. So my goal this spring is to kind of just show my abilities and show what a good leader I can be and what a good teammate I can be. And just keep progressing every day, only taking, not even looking further than tomorrow, and just taking it one day at a time, and really just enjoying this process and really building up a good relationship with all my teammates.
This might be a hard question to answer because you guys are just getting started with spring ball, but what do you hope, and this is a question for each of you, what do you hope the identity of this team is this season?
Oh gosh, what do you think, guys?
I just like West Virginia has been in the past, hardworking, hard-nosed, fighting, tough. I want teams to always, after the game, be like, yo, y'all play hard. Like, y'all really gave us a run for our money. And we've, in the past years, we've had that. So, we just have to keep being that team. Everybody knows we have some things to fix. We have to be a more explosive offense. And, there's a lot of questions right now at defense that people are wondering. But I think that with the work we've put in this offseason, that I think I'm pretty confident with the direction we're going in.
I totally agree. I think one of our big mottos this offseason was seriously just plain and simple, embrace the suck. And, there was this winter workouts was, some of the hardest stuff I've ever done in my life. And, being around these guys, they, said it was some pretty hard stuff too while they've been here. And I think just, doing that hard stuff together and really grinding together and just being forced to be around each other all the time, you really, really build up a good relationship with each other. And like Bryce said, I think if we just kind of have that reputation that, these are some dogs, these are some, hard fighting kids. And I think that's really the message we want to send. It's just, we're a bunch of hard nosed football players that just want to win.
Your uncle, Bryce, was pretty tough.
Yeah.
But your grandpa was super tough.
I know.
I just want to tell you that. I've known him for a long time, man, and God bless your whole family. And I'm going to say this here to you guys is, when you're working together and you're out on the field, BFW, you are years older, and you have the experience. And Nico, you are the young guy with the cannon. Who's going to say who's doing it right? It's brand new offense. You're going to be like, who are you going to listen to, right? And they're saying, like, that's your fault or that's your fault.
Right.
It doesn't matter, right? It's both your faults if you don't get it right.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Yeah. I think there should be being around these guys, it doesn't really seem like there's going to be any of that, pointing fingers, it was your fault, it's your fault. I think just, being a quarterback, I think I kind of have to take on more of that leadership role and kind of take on control of the offense and kind of be the commander out there and pointing guys in every which direction. And, but having, good communication with your teammates and listening to them and their needs and their thoughts on the game too is so crucial. So, again, just coming in, I'm sorry about that, coming in with so many experienced college football players on the offensive and defensive side of the ball is just a blessing for me to, just do what I do, and then have them out there with me and just making my job easy.
All right. Well, Nico and Bryce, we appreciate your time here on Climbing the Mountain, the podcast presented by Country Roads Trust and Encova. Of course, if you want more information on Country Roads Trust, visit the website, countryroadstrust.com. You can get bios on Nico and Bryce and all of the athletes that we have. All right. Coming up next, we're going to have Lynn J. Dixon and Mike O'Laughlin. Stay with us. This Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. Welcome back to the final segment of Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast all about WVU Spring Football Practice, brought to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. All right, Wolf, who are our next two guys up?
Well, we got Lynn J. Dixon, who's just transferred in from Clemson. And, of course, we got Michael O'Laughlin, Big Mike. And I'll tell you what, this is what the first episode we have, 6 coming to the spring ball.
Right.
We got a lot going on ahead of you. Guys, you ready for this? Look at Mazey's coming at you.
That's right. Yeah, I got the tough questions. First of all, Lynn J., welcome to Morgantown. You're from Clemson. Talk about your journey here and why Morgantown and WVU was the next stop in your journey.
Just for better opportunities and for my career. Things at Clemson went great. With the teammates there, I had fun with them. And I just decided it came for the best opportunity for me just to move on and come to Morgantown. So.
All right, and Mike, you're a seasoned veteran here. You're out for the spring with a knee injury.
Yep.
So what will you take away from this spring? I mean, obviously you're going to be observing, but how will that help you in the season when you come back?
Getting a different perspective on everything is really important. I've been injured before, sadly, so I do know how to kind of take some stuff in from the sideline. But it's going to be really important, this year especially, to kind of help the young guys, some guys that haven't got a lot of playing time. This will be a really big spring for them. So, just helping them and doing the best I can to just be there for those guys.
Yeah, I'm going to come right back with you, Michael, with that being that you injured. You had to sit out the first 2 games. I think Virginia Tech was your first game that you came back. 11 catches in 5 games. You were just really starting to roll, man. You get the injury. Now, again, you're facing that injury and that recovery. What is good for you in your mind, your body, and your soul, man?
Well, for me, the most important thing is just keeping a good mindset. It's really important, especially having another big injury like this. And one thing that's kind of helped me throughout the way mentally is just that I've done it before, and I came back really strong the first time, working with Mike Joseph in the weight room and even with the coaches just on the football aspect of things. I think I really picked up a lot of stuff while I was hurt. And it was a really good opportunity, honestly, to play for that following year. So that's something I keep in mind. It's not the worst thing in the world. You're playing football, you're in college, having fun. But just keeping that mindset really just keeps you going.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Lynn J., let's talk about. I actually asked Nico this question. I said, "What is good about WVU? What has been good about WVU since you've arrived?"
Man, WVU have been great, man. It's been awesome, man. With the snow, you can come here snow sledding. How you say it? Snow sledding.
Sledding. You better be careful though.
Sledding.
Yeah. Ice skating. All that. Just having fun in the snow. Like it's something new to me, cause I've been around like the hot sun all day, every day, down there in Georgia, and up in South Carolina. So yeah, it's special.
Lynn J., what do you hope to get out of this spring? Obviously, you want to showcase your skills, but I mean, what are you personally looking to get out of this?
Just building a great relationship with my teammates, for real. Showing them that I'm capable of like helping bring home a victory, and being there for my teammates, and that I'm that leader. So show them that I'm a leader. So.
Is it a little nerve-wracking coming into a new program, new guys, new coach? I mean, how difficult is that? I mean, you make it seem easy, but, you're transitioning everything, where you're living, where you're going to school, everything. It's got to be a little nerve-wracking.
I mean, I kind of call that like some outside noise type stuff. Like, it's just outside stuff. Like, you shouldn't let it come interfere with what you really want most, like, for yourself. So you should always keep striving for better. And no matter what the circumstance is, like, you shouldn't let nothing get to you. Not even like a little 12-inch of snow, Still got to keep pushing.
You love that snow, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I love it, yeah.
You both have faced adversity in previous years. What is your goal this year besides obviously being successful, being a leader, being with your teammates? But what are your personal goals that you want to achieve coming up here, knowing that it is getting towards the end of your college career and you want to make some noise? Go ahead. You go ahead first, Michael.
For me, I just want to make an impact, whether that's in the locker room, on the field. I just want to be, a positive force for this team. This year I think we really got a good chance to do something special. We got a great group of guys. Camaraderie is great. So just being around them, I think we're going to have something special.
Mike, new offensive coordinator, and Graham Harrell. What's that like for you having a new coach running the offense?
It's a little bit different. Similar offensive style, which is nice. You don't have to there's a lot of carryover, so you're not learning a bunch of new stuff that you're unfamiliar with. So that's really not an issue, and he's a great guy. We've sat down and had meetings, and just having him, speak to the offense and whatnot, he has a great idea for how the offense should work. And I know a lot of guys are really excited to get working with him.
Lynn J., I talked to Coach Chad Scott. He said you're a guy that could take it to the house. What do you believe in your heart are your biggest strengths in the running back?
Man, I say my vision, my quickness. I run different. I remember my time at Clemson, talking to Debo Sweeney. He gave me the comparison of Eric Dickerson, and things like that. And
so you agree with him? You think you can take it to the house?
yeah, I'm a smooth criminal out there. You can give me three carries, and I'm probably bust out of there with a TD. I can become something special now.
Yeah.
Well, I love your thought process. And with an offensive line and a tight end like that who actually learned how to block as a wide receiver spot in high school, which I never thought was going to happen. I saw you had all ball skills, man, when you came here. And you went from, I believe, 195 pounds to now you're, 260?
Yeah, about 260
About
right
260.
now, so.
I ask you this every time. I know you get tired, but go ahead. Tell us about the transformation.
It was crazy. I was really a receiver in high school, probably 205 my senior year, 200 pounds. And that's really what I was doing. And, I was recruited to play tight end in college. So I knew I had to kind of, build myself up and get into a frame that would work. And then I got here, was playing a little bit in the summer, got hurt, and then that kind of gave me my opportunity to grow that body, lifting twice a day, 5 meals a day, trying to beef up. So it was a lot of hard work, but it was a great opportunity and great timing, really.
Hey, speaking of blocking now, that O-line for West Virginia this year. Hey,
yeah, special.
Hey, got Big Show, Mark Henry on there. We got.
Wait, repeat that. Who was that?
I said on that O-line this year, it's something special. We got Big Show, Undertaker, Kane.
Are we WWE lady or something?
Hey,
exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
We got some world heavyweight champions on that line now.
Well, that is awesome. Now, so Lynn J., let me ask you this, man. You can take it to the house. You believe you can go ahead and run behind this offensive line. What's your real speed, man? How fast are you?
Oh, I don't know. Last time I been time for the 40, was I say 18, 19, and I ran a 4.2. So
okay, you're saying pretty fast then.
Yeah, I'm pretty fast.
You're pretty fast. Okay, are you as good of a singer as you are fast?
I don't know.
Hey, listen. While we were waiting, I heard him listen to some music, and he was into it.
Well, let's go. You got some chops?
Nah.
You got some singing there?
I bet in the shower he does, right? In the shower, you're a rock star.
Close space.
Hey, so Mike, I know that you play hockey. My kids play hockey. You grew up playing hockey. So, is there anything that you can correlate between hockey and football?
Honestly, kind of like the college version of football for me. I can relate it a little bit because hockey is such a different sport than all the others. You can there's crossover usually. Hockey, you're skating. You got to learn how to skate. So the learning curve for hockey is immense. And then coming to college and not playing a certain position like tight end, that was also a major learning curve for me. So I was real patient when I was younger with hockey, and I loved it. I got pretty good at it, and I loved it. Great experiences. So that kind of taught me when I got to West Virginia, like, just take it slow. Like, you don't, no one has to show up right away. You got a few years. And then I got hurt, and I was really able to focus on it. So just that learning curve kind of taught me.
Bet you were a Blackhawks fan.
Yeah, big Blackhawks fan.
Yeah, wasn't
They
too
won a
hard to
couple
guess.
times when I was playing, so it was
All
good.
right. Hey, Lynn J, tell me this. What is it like? You went with Double Sweetie for the past 3 seasons, and now you're here with Neil Brown. What's what are they like? Similar, different, both?
I mean, they quite similar to me. Like, I just know that they both gonna care. They both care about their players, true enough, and not gonna let nothing hurt their players. And they gonna be there for them.
So we asked this to Nico and Bryce, obviously newcomer, veteran, this spring football season here, these practices. Talk about just the importance of building that chemistry. And that's a question for both of you guys, with the veterans and the newcomers.
Yeah, for sure. It's, spring's really important just to get around guys, especially new guys, and see, what kind of game they have, what kind of special skills they have. And then kind of just learning, if it's a quarterback and receiver, it's like timing, even with a D lineman and a linebacker, it's like figuring out what the other's going to do. You got to kind of have some familiarity with each other. And spring ball really gives you that opportunity. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I feel like getting to know all your teammates is a big thing, but a very big thing to me is like knowing your teammates and also knowing the people that clean up the facility, who serve you food, the ones that just like you feel like at the least bottom, they are really the important ones to make it all happen. Like, you can't do it without certain people, so it's all about knowing everybody that's on that same boat trying to get that victory or whatever. So
I love that. That's so mature.
Miss Robin up there is pretty special in
I
the dinner
know,
line.
this
She
is
fed me
awesome.
for many years before you guys.
Yes,
So
cooking
very
up
good,
something.
man.
Yeah, she's
Just got to remind everybody, this Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. So, Dale, these guys are pretty mature. I like what
Yeah.
Lynn J was saying about you got to just thank everybody, because you don't get here without all the people behind you. So that's pretty mature. Just how excited are you guys just to get out there? I mean, I know you're going to be on the sideline, but just to get out there and play. I mean, does it seem like it's been a while since you've been out there, Lynn J?
Oh yeah, it's been a minute, man. Like ever since I hit the portal, I think it was like 3rd game, like when we played against Georgia Tech at Clemson. I was sitting at home every weekend watching the game, or I'll be like just up like in my room just doing push-ups, doing moves or whatever, like just missing the game, like, and being away from it just showed like what type of appreciation like that I should have had at the time while I was on the team, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause when you there, like the hard work and like working out, you be like, man, I want this to be over with. Like, man, my body hurt, man. Like, but when you be away from it, you actually start getting that appreciation of what it was, So that's what it was. So
Yeah, I appreciate it too, being all the years ago that I played. I don't miss winter conditioning. I don't miss those 6 a.m. mat drills in there. I know you guys won't either, but because you are both experienced and because the rules have changed, I wanted to ask you, how is name, image, and likeness? This is the Country Roads Trust podcast. How is this changing your daily life, both of you?
It's changed. It's changed a lot. You kind of get to, it's another aspect of like who you are. I feel like a lot of times, especially fans, really just sometimes look at us as that football player, and this gives us an opportunity to go out and get familiar with what's out there, get a little bit of background in the business world and how to handle yourself in those aspects, and then you get to connect with people that you want to do stuff with. And I think that's important too. If you feel strongly about something, being able to go and do that now is pretty cool.
Well, Jay?
I feel like I find it as in like it giving, like it's like a 2% deal like of people going to the NFL. So it giving like not only but the top players a chance to like get their exposure, but again also like the walk-ons or like people who don't really get playing time like that. You know, it give them opportunity like to explore something new for them to enjoy their college life or whatever while they on the team. So I feel like that NIL deal was a good thing to bring into the college world. So it preparing us for like the next level and, you know, giving us better knowledge on how to conduct business or whatever.
I like
Very mature.
He
I know.
wants to give to everybody.
I know,
He wants
I
to take
love
care
it.
of everybody. I love this. This is a
Successful.
great teammate right there. I'm ready to watch you in spring ball, man. I really am. I want to see you go. I watch that offense really start to click. And just wanted to tell you both, you know, Michael, man, I know your injury. Keep going, brother, because keep the faith, because you know what? You were right there, man. You're right there. So keep going. And Lynn J, I cannot wait to watch you.
Thank you. We
All right.
appreciate
Well,
it.
Lynn J. Dixon, running back, Michael Laughlin, tight end. We appreciate you guys joining us on the very first Climbing the Mountain podcast. Dale, this is it.
Well,
We're wrapping it up here.
my goodness, I'll tell you what a success it's been. And we got, 5 more?
5 more to go. That's right.
I
There
can
you go.
count I can use my hands.
That's it.
I
That's
can
it.
use them.
Thank you guys. Thank
All
you
right,
for
well,
having us.
Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you all for watching Climbing the Mountain. We will be back next week. We're going to have Garrett Green. We're going to have some of those offensive linemen by their real names, not Lynn J's wrestling names there. And again, if you'd like to get more information about our athletes and learn cool things like Mike played hockey, you can go to countryroadstrust.com. And we appreciate you watching. We've got 5 more episodes coming your way. So for Dale and myself, thank you for watching. Again, this is Climbing the Mountain, brought to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of Climbing the Mountain, presented to you by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance.